Joining me now is Armen Georgian, International Affairs Editor. The opposition clearly is keeping up pressure on the Maduro government, but is it actually working?
Well, first of all, I mean, if you look at these pictures, Annette, it's clearly absolutely huge amount of people in Caracas, and it shows, of course, the dissatisfaction with this state of affairs. And it is actually part of a traditional commemoration called Youth Day, which did see violence in 2014 when a number of students were shot dead. So there must be a lot of tension there in the crowd, knowing the history of this particular protest. And of course, young people have already used this occasion before as a kind of rallying point against the regime. As I said back in 2014, I think it's taken on a particular significance this year because the sort of underlying idea is that a country doesn't have a future unless its young people have a future. And of course, that's very much what this Youth Day in 2019 is about, 5 years after the deaths of those young protesters.
Given the numbers we're seeing there in the centre of the city, just how much support does the opposition actually have? And is it centralised in Caracas, or is it more widespread right across the country?
You know, it's hard to get a real sense of that. But in terms of the sort of critical support that the Maduro government has, clearly the key thing to watch there is the army, because at the moment he's got the army not breaking ranks, and as soon as some army officers start to sort of show cracks when it comes to deliver a humanitarian aid, that would be the beginning of the end for the Maduro regime. To try to answer your question, though, Nat, I think Guaido's kind of main problem now is that he's got to go beyond the public relations aspect of things, that tweet of him with nutritional supplements and so on. He's got to move beyond that and show that he's actually capable of making a difference to the daily lives of Venezuelans. And for that, he can't do it right now because he's not in control of these state institutions, particularly the army. So if he can show that he's actually able to deliver through his political allies and forces this aid and show that he's a concrete alternative, then that would obviously be a game changer. But he's got a couple of problems. First of all, the army, as I said, which is still backing Maduro. Also, the fact that relief organizations themselves have said they're very worried about getting involved at this stage because the whole intervention has become so politically sensitive. They don't want to be seen to be openly backing the Venezuelan opposition. They can't unilaterally, they can't recognize Guaido the way that some Western governments and other governments have done. So they've got to at least appear to be very neutral. So Guaido has that double problem. Firstly, that relief organizations see this as very politically difficult for them to get involved. Secondly, that of course the Venezuelan state apparatus, which is backing Maduro, is actually physically blocking that aid on the border with Colombia.
Armen Georgian, thank you for that.